This is Showtime, a podcast about the people behind the curtain and the stories that shape them. I'm Andrew G, and each week I sit down with creatives, leaders and risk takers from the theatre world and beyond. We talk about what they do, why they do it, and what it really takes to keep showing up. Today I'm joined by Zack, Isabelle and Ben, the hilarious and heartwarming trio behind The Three Little Pigs, the hit children's musical by Broadway's Stiles and Drewe. From silly snorts to surprising lessons, we talk about what makes this show so special, both on and off stage. Welcome to Showtime, Zack, Isabelle and Ben.
Hi.
Thank you for having us.
I love that unison start. Did you rehearse that for long?
Yeah, it took us years. Yeah, it was actually part of the audition process.
So let's start at the very beginning, as someone once said in a musical. Tell me a little bit about each of the characters that you play in the show and what the show's about.
Should we go barbecue?
Absolutely.
Oh, wait, are we sitting? No, that's a
we
bummer.
didn't sit barbecue.
Okay, well, Bar's kind of the arrogant, muscly, typical broski brother vibe, which is very me, super duper me. Very masculine vibe. He's got a little heart. You see that during the show. He's got that little sense of spot. He loves his siblings, but yeah, he's super fun.
B is the middle child, and a typical middle child. She sort of follows the beat of her own drum. She's very environmentally conscious, sort of often gets totally overwhelmed by the largeness of her brother's energy and their bickering.
Q is the youngest pig, but don't let that fool you. He is the cleverest pig, the most cleverest. Is that a word? I'm not clever, but but Q is clever. And he loves his books. He loves his interior design. He's the one that ends up building the house of bricks. And so that's a little bit about Q.
Did you grow up with the story, The Three Little Pigs, and how is this show different?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely heard it growing up. I sort of don't have any specific memories of hearing it, to be honest, just that I just know that I know it and have always known it.
I feel like it's one of those like stories that like, how can you not know The Three Little Pigs? It's such like a classic tale. But I feel like the musical like dives deeper into each of the characters. Like, you know, in the children's books, it's just sort of like the three pigs, one builds a house of this, that, the other. But in the musical, you dive into each of their like very different characters and the relationship between them as siblings. You learn more about the wolf. You see more before the story as well about like the mother pig and sending them out. And then you see like a little bit about what happens afterwards as well. So it's the classic tale that you know and love, but it dives way deeper into all of the characters in the story.
And Zack, you're returning as Q to The Three Little Pigs. What's it like jumping back into the pig pen?
So much fun. I had like the most fun with these guys last time. Like the whole cast, the crew, the production team was just so much fun. So getting to do it again is really, really cool. I wouldn't have missed it. Yeah, really awesome.
And Belle, what drew you to the show in the first place, and what does it feel like coming back?
To address your first question, I love working with young people and children. Seeing when you're performing in a kids show, seeing the faces of the kids in the audience is one of the best feelings in the world. They're an honest audience, which can be a little scary at times. But for the most part during the show, I think of the amazing talent that we have on stage, the kids are just lighting up. And every experience I've had with kids theatre has been like that. That's what drew me to the show in the first place. And then when I listened to the music online, I sort of went, whoa, this is so much cooler than most, or what you'd expect of a kids musical. And the second part of your question was what it's like to return. On the first day of rehearsals, was so excited. I was so nervous to come back. I was sort of thinking, how much will I remember? Thank goodness for muscle memory, because most of it's still in there. And I'm so glad that I've come back, because we just had the best day in our first day of rehearsals. It was just really exciting.
And Ben, The Three Little Pigs was your professional theatre debut. What was it like being cast in the show?
I just felt reassuring and amazing and awesome and exciting and definitely nerve-wracking. There's a lot of pressure, especially in The Three Little Pigs. We're on stage a lot, and I definitely felt that going into it. Didn't know what to expect, but it was super duper awesome and really exciting for me.
So a question to all of you, what's something unexpected in your characters that the audience might not realise?
Don't all speak at once. Yeah, I just feel like sort of what I was saying earlier, like there's so much more to all of the characters. Like they're not just sort of like animals, like that, you know, there's so much more to each of the characters and they are so different. For me, my character, like the thing that I was drawn to when I was first reading the script and listening to the music was like how flamboyant he was and how passionate he was about designing the inside of his house. Like that's something that you don't see in the Three Little Pigs. It's sort of all about like the exterior, the bricks, the straw, etc. Sorry, etc. The sticks. Not important. But yeah, you know, there's a whole song called A Little House, and that's all about like the things he's going to put in his house and the cushions and the sofa and, you know, the troughs, and they're going to be shiny and chrome. And, you know, there's so much to, you know, the thought of what's going to happen inside the house. And that's something that you don't see in the story of the Three Little Pigs other than this musical.
To add to Zack's brilliance, though, I think my surprise for B was how unsure she is of herself and how she finds herself through the story. And that was really sort of wholesome.
Yeah, totally. I'd say a surprise for all of us definitely is we are belting our faces off as the Three Little Pigs. So unexpectedly, we are singing in this show, and that is so much fun. And so, you know, walking into Three Little Pigs, you may not expect us to be totally in a Fosse hand and everything, but that's definitely surprising about Bar, especially being more, he's when he goes masculine, does his push-ups, and then suddenly he's doing a little pas de bourrée.
And this version of the show is packed with heart and humour. How do you find the balance between being funny and being sincere on stage?
I think it all like comes down to the truth. And I think Tara Cannon, our director, is really good at coming back to, you know, what is the truth? We can heighten things, we can be funny, you know, we have to make sure that the gags land, etc. But it all comes down to a place of like, what do you feel like you as the actor want to do in this moment? And it comes from a place of like, yeah, a place of truth, a place of sincerity.
I think it also comes from not treating the children like they're idiots. Like, they are little people with their whole worlds in their minds. They're learning so much language every day. They're learning new skills every day, and we're not going to treat this story or these characters like they're less than because we're presenting them to young people. We're hopefully shaping or being a part of shaping these young people. So treating them with the same respect we'd treat an adult audience, I think, helps add to the truth of these characters.
And what's it like working with a live audience full of kids?
There's some really unexpected moments.
Yeah, it kind of keeps you on your toes because you never know what you're going to expect. Yeah. There's a really funny moment that Ben has where like sometimes like the kids will predict his next line, which is really funny.
It's so much fun. And just like you said, they're an honest audience. They are honest, and you know, we have the house lights up, so we do get to see their faces and reaction. And honestly, it's really rewarding seeing them, so their little smiles, because for a lot of them, it's their first musical theatre experience, and we get to be that first one, which is so totally awesome.
We get so invested as well in our character's journey. So when the kids start helping the wolf, saying, you know, they went that way, we're standing backstage really insulted. Like,
what?
Why would you do that? He wants to eat us.
We're the protagonists.
Really? Have my back, guys. I can leave stage for 1 minute and you throw me under the bus.
But I was going to say, I feel like as actors, it makes us work harder as well, because you can tell when like, you know, the moments where maybe little kids are getting a little bit like restless, and it makes you sort of work harder to grab their attention. So I think it's like having a live child audience. I think having a live audience of children, I think, really just makes us like more energized as actors as well.
So what are some of those unexpected reactions you've had from the kids?
Yeah.
To me.
Ooh, okay.
There's a scene where the three of us walk on together. We come from, to get technical, upstage left to downstage right. And we have figured out that the big bad wolf is indeed alive and is looking for us. And my first line when we walk on is, well, if the posters are true and the big bad wolf really is out there, then we should hurry up and build our houses. And as we walked onto stage looking very concerned, a little kid in the front row yelled out, "The big bad wolf is looking for you." And so then I was able to throw to the kid and say, well, if the poster is true and the big bad wolf really is out there somewhere, which felt really special and very unexpected and almost made us laugh. You could sort of see in our eyes that we were like, hold it together, hold it together.
I think with some unexpected reactions, when we do our scenes where we're buying the materials to make the house with the merchant, played by lovely Jake Lonergan, they definitely know the story at this point. So they know exactly who's going to buy what, and they can sense from like our character's vibe what we're going for. And they're simple reactions to just like us being, there's a whole gag part. You have to come see it. to understand the gag. But there's a whole gag part where, we're acting like, oh, where are the sticks or something? And they are straight right side, like in front of you. Like you can see them being like, duh, it's literally right there. Just like look. And it's so funny because then you have to like play like where? And it's so cute. It's fun.
I just don't think I expected them to be so like engaged and vocal and answering questions and reaching out to us and saying the big bad wolf's after you and that sort of stuff. Like it's something that I've not experienced when you're performing to a bunch of adults or families. You don't necessarily get that. So this is really cool.
Zack, you're also a stand-up comedian. Has that helped you bring Q to life?
Well, we'll see because I've only recently become a stand-up comedian. But yeah, even the other day in rehearsals, we added like another little sort of comedic bit. And so I feel like I was sort of like, drawing from my comedy things there. I feel like I'm sort of, as a performer, adding to my toolbox and everything influences everything, I think. So yeah, no doubt this run of the Three Little Pigs will be maybe more comedic or different because of my stand-up experience that I've had recently as well.
And Belle, as a songwriter, are you approaching the music differently, do you think?
I'm not sure that it impacts the show all that much, but having had a very sort of technical musical background, I find it a bit easier than maybe other singers to pick music up quickly and learn harmonies and
Yep.
There was no shade intended.
I saw the eye contact.
No, truly. You held it with me.
But it has been I think songwriting has been it's been a nice balance to have this sort of joyous, very, Ben mentioned before, like we are singing, we are belting, to then be able to go home and write a song that isn't quite so intensive on the voice has also been a nice balance for myself.
And Ben, you work a lot with kids outside of the show. Has that helped shape how you connect with the young audience?
Honestly, yeah, because I've had to learn how to navigate when kids, as you said before, when the points where they get restless, little cues I can have. Hey. Little cues you can do to hook them back in, little eye contacts, as like a teacher, and you're like, not like boys in the back, but also you're looking like, I'm still here, still going on. But yeah, it definitely has shaped how I interact with kids, especially for this show.
What has the Three Little Pigs taught you all about performing and about storytelling with such a young audience?
I think it's just like, it's challenged me to go to like the next level of heightened performance. It's not something that I've done a lot of, most musicals are, a little less than children's musicals, and plays and things might be more realistic. So I think it's definitely like challenged me to go to that next level, which is something that has been really fun and something that I would love to do more of as well.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I used to get the note at uni for years, Isabelle, you need to make bigger, bolder offers. And I really struggled with it for years. And I think children's theatre in general has been a really great challenge for me to make those bigger, bolder choices. And so then when I return to theatre that isn't children's theatre, I feel more comfortable and emboldened by the bigger choices that we're able to make.
This is the storytelling. It showed me how important it truly is, especially from such a young age to shape them, being what theatre can teach young kids from such a young age and confidence and everything. I just think.
If your little pig had a social media account, what would the bio say?
I think my pig's bio would be something about trying to get onto the block or like
book talk.
Yeah. Would be like, book talk. Who would totally be on book talk? Yeah, he'd be all over TikTok, book talk. I feel like he would love to be on the block. So I feel like that's something that he'd be really going for. Yeah.
I think B's bio would be simple. It would say, we only have one planet.
Yeah.
Mine would be like fitness, health, passion, and creatine. Something to build muscles and like gym 258. Just something like that.
What do you hope kids and their parents take away from the show?
I feel like the Three Little Pigs has such a message of family and love and connection. And, even though the Three Little Pigs argue and fight with each other and we bicker and we don't always get along, when it matters, we always have each other's backs. And I think that's, hopefully little kids can see their own families reflected in that. They might be able to see, we do bicker, but at the end of the day, when it's really important, we come together and support each other.
That whole working together is kind of the moral of the story in the end, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
Family's so important.
And also maybe build your house of bricks because sticks and straw is not going to work.
That's sensible.
Spoiler alert.
Cool.
Sorry.
Warning.
If you can break into the property market.
I'm with Zack, Isabelle, and Ben, who are all in the Three Little Pigs this school holidays opening on the 9th of July at the National Theatre. To book tickets and for more info, visit booktickets.com.au. Zack, Belle, Ben, thank you so much for coming in and shook us for the season.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Woo.